hard to believe, but a whopping 79% of the US population has a social networking profile. That's 247 million people. Across the globe, an estimated 3.5 billion people are on social media, according to a 2019 survey by Jay Clement at Statista. With Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and more, our lives are connected in ways they have never been before. Social media is deeply ingrained into our society. I'm going to discuss some of the effects that social media has on our lives. As a communications major and avid social media user, I have learned much about these impacts. These impacts are making our lives seem smaller, or making our world seem smaller, making our lives less private, and affecting our mental health, sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. With this information, I hope that you can move on and use social media safely and positively. Like I said before, social media has connected our lives in ways that has never been before. The world isn't as big as it once seemed, and this applies to many aspects of our lives. We can now communicate with friends across the globe, purchase items from hundreds of miles away, and even get the news in real time. According to a 2018 study by Pew Research Center, over 2/3 of American adults at least occasionally get their news on social media, with 1 in 5 admitting to doing so often. In fact, according to Elisa Shearer, a Pew Research associate, social media has surpassed print newspaper as a news source for Americans. I will admit that I am one of the people who gets my news on social media. If I go a day without Twitter, for example, I feel as if I'm no behind, as if something major could have happened in the world and I wouldn't even know about it. Another important thing to know about social media is that it affects our privacy. It makes our lives less private, really. When you make a social media profile, you often must input your basic information: your name, your age, your email address, sometimes even your phone's contact list. Many post this information to their social media site for their friends to see. Once this information is on the internet, it will never go away, even if you delete it. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. According to another Pew Research Center study from 2013, 71% of teens post their school name to their profile, 71% post the city where they live, 53% post their email address, and 20% post their phone number. And like I said before, once something's on the internet, it's always there. And private account or not, hackers have a way of getting into this information and stealing it. Another important thing to know about social media is that they don't always do a good job of protecting your privacy. If you've ever been on social media, you've definitely been a victim of targeted ads. You click a link of a pair of shoes, for example, and then suddenly you're seeing those shoes everywhere. Though this is usually harmless, it's important to remember that social media sites track what you do and what you click. I had a sort of scary moment recently with a fun social app called FaceApp. Basically, the app told users to upload a photo of themselves, and then they got to do fun things with it, like change their hair color or make themselves look older. Like thousands of others, I read the terms and conditions without even reading them. It came out in the news a few days later that FaceApp is owned by a Russian company, and that any photo you upload, they now have the rights to, which, of course, could be a security threat. I deleted the app immediately, even though the app makers denied any malicious intent. I think this is something important to keep for all of us to keep in mind. Another thing to know about social media is how it affects our mental health. Social media is a powerful tool, and studies show that it affects the way we think. On a negative note, in a March 2019 article on Psychom.net by Katie Hurley, a study at the University of Pittsburgh found a correlation between those who used social media more and a negative body image. In fact, those who used social media the most were at 2.6 times the risk of thinking negatively about their bodies. This is because we compare ourselves to those we see online. It's important to remember that photos online can be edited, especially of celebrities. Social media can also be linked to sleeping problems and symptoms of depression. Cyberbullying, which is bullying online, also can be linked to depression and anxiety. While I've just been naming these negative things, there are positive effects on mental health from social media. According to a 2017 study on paintedbrain.org by Kevin DeBruce, social media can be known to relieve loneliness as it opens up new communication pathways for users. Some social media sites allow users to make anonymous profiles, which allows for freedom of self-expression without the dangerous stigma from peers. Those with mental health issues can discuss what they feel with professionals and get advice. Social media also promotes healthy lifestyle changes, as sharing a goal publicly promotes accountability. In conclusion, social media is deeply ingrained into society. It makes the world seem smaller, decreases our level of privacy, and affects our mental health. In Spider-Man, Uncle Ben says, "With great power comes great responsibility." Social media doesn't exactly give you Spidey powers, but it is a powerful tool. Make sure you use it wisely. Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes.
Do you feel as if social media is still growing today, and at what rate?
Yes, people are joining social media every day. In fact, I believe by 2023, it's estimated that at least 10 million more people will have joined social media in America. Yes.
Do you think the growth of social networking is overall a positive on society or negative?
I think it's a positive. I think the benefits outweigh the cons. I love how we're so connected now and we can know everything that's happening across the globe, but I think it's just important to keep in mind those negative things, like the decrease of your privacy or the possible negative effects on your mental health. Thank you, guys.